All right, so we got the 1081 spoilers, and this chapter is absolutely living up to the hype that it has been receiving because we're getting two massive reveals in this one. Well, first of all, we're seeing the continuation of what was happening with Garp in the previous chapter. Like, he showed up to Hachinosu to save Kobe, who we knew was taken prisoner by the Blackbeard pirates, and when he got there, he just dropped a galaxy blow and like blew away a portion of it. It was insane, super hype, and I thought Oda would have cut away from that, but no, we're seeing what happens after he did that. Also, who his opponent is. But the second thing, and that's the thing that I want to talk about first, is the reveal of the winner between Blackbeard and Law. Because a couple of chapters back, we just saw Law and Blackbeard suddenly going at it. Winner gets Law's, poneglyph rubbings. And it was pretty competitive and going back and forth, but then we cut away from that and we've been speculating since then, like, who's gonna win? And we most likely thought it was gonna be Blackbeard. And it turns out that, yeah, Law was defeated, but he is alive. We don't know the condition of Kid, but we know the condition of Law. Also, Beppo is alive. So yeah, like I said, the majority of us expected Blackbeard to win, and that's because he kind of has to, or more so Law kind of has to lose. And I mean like he had to lose, not just like, I don't know, have a competitive back and forth and there's like a draw and they both go their separate ways. Like, Law has to lose here, and it's simply because he has the freaking Ope Ope no Mi, one of the most significant and powerful fruits in the entire series, with tons of backstory and hidden lore to it that we still don't know about yet. Like, I'm positive it is tied to multiple characters. And that being said, we were teased about its secret potential from Doflamingo with the perpetual youth surgery. And that's exactly why Law has to be defeated here, because I think Blackbeard is absolutely going to take the Ope Ope no Mi from Law, but it can happen in a few ways. And also, I'm sorry if you've heard me say this theory before. I just want to reiterate it for the new viewers here. Yes, there is like an equal amount of people who aren't subscribed that watch my videos, so I want to catch them up to speed. And also, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, guys. Maybe you watch my videos when you see them in the recommended and then you just forget to subscribe or whatever, but please subscribe, because I do cover the One Piece spoilers every single week that they're available as fast as I possibly can. I also do collabs with Sai and Parvision, two other One Piece creators. So if you're interested in that stuff, please subscribe, guys. Thanks. But anyway, one of two things. Blackbeard takes Law's fruit and then gives it to somebody else and have them perform the perpetual youth surgery onto Blackbeard so he becomes immortal. And then the user who did it gives their lives to perform that ability. That's kind of like the stipulation to it. Now, the other option is that Blackbeard forces Law himself to perform the surgery on him by, I guess, just threatening to kill Beppo and the rest of the Heart Pirates. And I think that Law would sacrifice himself to save them, because it also could parallel to Corazon sacrificing himself to save Law. And then it would also give Law the tragic death, and I'm sure he'll have a smile on his face in that instance as well. Now, I don't want Law to die. That's why I even presented that first option, because I hope that's the way that it plays out. But I also do think it's a very good possibility that we might see Law tragically die here to save his crew, but also at the expense of giving Blackbeard immortality. And also, that's like immortality, not invulnerability. Like, he can still be vaporized, but that still remains to be seen. But let's go into the other spoilers, because Aokiji Kuzan is the captain of the 10th ship of the Blackbeard pirates. Now again, this is like another thing that I guess the majority of us expected, because like a while ago, I think it was like right after Doflamingo was defeated by Luffy, we saw Aki Inu talking to the Gorosei. They were like, yeah, I can't believe that Kuzan, took sides with Blackbeard now. And after that, it was like years before we got any updates on that. And it wasn't until like a couple months ago when we saw Kuzan show up with Van Augur to Totland to take Pudding. And then even then, we still didn't get the confirmation of him being the 10th captain. And then there was, some people saying that he wasn't. So now we know for sure. But when Kuzan joined the Blackbeard pirates, Blackbeard himself asked about the man with the burn scar, because it seems that that man is the one with the last road poneglyph. So even Blackbeard is familiar with the man with the burn mark, and that makes sense because I'm sure anything that Kid knows, Kid being the first person who revealed the existence of the man with the burn scar and his possible tie to the poneglyphs, Blackbeard will know too. And it makes you wonder, like, who spread this rumor of the man with the burn scar? And it also makes sense that Blackbeard would ask Kuzan because Kuzan is directly responsible for the existence of the man with the burn scar, because it is heavily implied at this point that the man with the burn scar is Saul, like Jaguar D. Saul from Robin's flashback at O'Hara. Like, we thought that Kuzan killed him by, freezing him, but no, he let him go. And it also turns out that Saul with some other giants were able to salvage the books from the library of O'Hara and take them back to Elbath. So that's why people assume that Saul, aka the man with the burn scar, knows the location of the last road poneglyph, because it was probably discovered by the scholars of O'Hara. Battle between Garp and his former first disciple, Kuzan. Garp has the upper hand in their fight. So wow, what an unexpected twist here. I did not see this happening at all. I mean, I thought that Garp may have had an interaction with Kuzan or something, or they may have talked about each other. I mean, given that they have their history, obviously, but I did not expect them to just straight up go to battle here. Now, also, I didn't know that Kuzan was on Hachinosu, or at least I don't think it was made aware. Like, we saw him in that flashback when he was explaining what sword was with Blackbeard when Kobe was also there. But it turns out that he is there and he is fighting Garp. And Garp has the upper hand, which is understandable because Garp was, I don't know, probably the one above all at one point, right? Maybe the strongest in the verse in his absolute prime. I mean, it's ultimately debatable of like who was the strongest amongst the big three of like, Garp, Roger, and Whitebeard. But in my opinion, it was probably Garp, if not by just a little bit. So even at the age of 78, he's still an absolute savage beast. But it is also possible that Kuzan is holding back a little, given that their relationship. But like I also talked about in my previous review, I do think that Kuzan is a part of Sword. And yes, I know that conflicts with what the Gorosei said earlier, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Gorosei doesn't know that Kuzan is in Sword and has infiltrated the Blackbeard pirates. So if he is in Sword, then either Garp knows this and he's keeping Kuzan's cover, or no one knows anything, and they are both legitimately fighting here. And we might get this big, crazy, tragic moment where Kuzan is forced to kill Garp to keep his cover. Like, I could totally see Oda doing something like that. I mean, that's a perfect way to pull on the heartstrings of the reader and to make Kuzan an even more complicated and tragic character than he already is. Now, I thought that Blackbeard was going to kill Garp because it makes sense, right? But Kuzan killing him would be like such a great tragic twist that I didn't see coming, but I'm totally on board for. And I don't know if that will ultimately prove to Blackbeard that Kuzan is trustworthy, because I don't think Blackbeard fully trusts him. I mean, why would he? But this will certainly help. And if it's for the ultimate good of taking down one of the Yonkos and procuring the road poneglyphs and making sure that they're quote unquote in the right hands, then I could see this being justified. But let me know what you think about this in the comments. Tons more happen in this chapter, guys, and we'll find out once we get the full summary either tomorrow or Wednesday. So also subscribe to that because I am going to make a video about it. But let me know what you thought about this in the comments. If you liked the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. I'll see you next one.